Hello, Colas, and welcome back to Viva Barca. Welcome to the home of everything Barcelona, where we are going to be discussing on the latest as usual. We start with Ansu Fati, as Ansu Fati's agent have warned Barcelona that his client Fati, could leave Barcelona if game time does not improve. So that's a stern warning to manager Xavi, who have been, using Ansu Fati very, very less frequently. We are going to be discussing on that as we move ahead. Then to conclude this episode, we talk about midfield maestro Pedri Gonzalez, who have admitted after the game against Bayern that this Barca side is not good enough to compete in the Champions League. Pedri admitted. So guys, before we get right into the full stories, please do ensure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch right up to the very end. Ansu Fati's participation this season has mostly come from the bench, so much so that he has started just 2 of his last 10 games across all competitions. As a result, his representatives have warned Barcelona that if the situation persists, the player might head towards an exit in the summer. Up until the recent Bayern Munich game at Camp Nou, Ansu Fati has played in each of Barca's 11 La Liga games and 5 UEFA Champions League outings. Interestingly enough, he has started a mere 3 of those 16 matches so far. Given the situation at hand, Alfredo Martinez, while writing for Dario Sport, has reported that Fati's camp, represented by super agent Josh Mendes, has warned Barcelona that if the teenager's playing status is not changed, he would consider leaving the team by the end of the season. As for Barcelona, they are not really worried about the situation, mostly because they know the player has a contract until 2027, and on top of that, his release clause is €1 billion, which will make it impossible for any team to even think of his acquisition. Ansu Fati, just 19 years old, committed his long-term future to Barca in October 2021 after months of negotiations, signing a long-term contract. He was expected to be an unsellable asset or an unsellable presence in the starting 11, but injuries have prevented him from doing so. Now, it is understood that Xavi and his coaching staff have been extremely cautious about his niggles, and this is the reason why he is not getting regular minutes. All that, however, is not sitting well with the player and his representative, as they believe despite being fit this season, the youngster has permanently lost his place to Ousmane Dembele, who is being preferred ahead of the Spaniard. Regardless of the warnings, though, Barcelona are quite tranquil about the situation, and in all fairness, they have all the right to be in this position. Honestly speaking, I don't think Ansu Fati, have played enough this season so far, and I see Ansu Fati having that hunger to play more minutes, but Xavi does not want to give it. You know, Xavi is still doing guesswork. I always say this. I'm sorry, but he does not know. Sometimes he does not know what to do in some some very important moments, or especially in some big games. Ansu Fati have been fit. We understand that Xavi is trying to be cautious. We know about Ansu's injury history has been so bad, and I think this is the longest time that Ansu Fati have not been injured. But I still believe that Xavi should give this guy more opportunities, or let me say more stats, because I can't count the number of times Ansu Fati have left the bench to play games, and it has reached a level where his agent Josh Mendes is not happy about it. His representative are saying that Barca should better improve his game time situation, or else they will try to see if they can sell him. But Barca are not worried about that, as I earlier said, because of course, Ansu Fati has a contract till 2027, and the release clause is just unreachable by any club. €1 billion, that's just a way to prevent any party to buy him, except they negotiate with Barca to reduce that price. If not, Barca have no intention whatsoever to sell Ansu Fati. So I don't know, because Ansu Fati in some interviews have also been voicing out his frustrations about game time. He's not that satisfied with the way Xavi have been giving him the game time. Ansu Fati is a very good player, even though he has not reached that level that we used to see from him because injury problems and everything like that. But when Ansu Fati is on top of his game, he can decide any game. Ansu Fati is so good. He brings something different to the table compared to Usman Dembele. Very different. And I think Ansu Fati is a more of a Barca type of forward. When we look at the Neymar, look at Messi, I mean, you look the way we played, the forwards are close together, right? But Javi will come and just pace like the forward. You see the wingers are out wide. It doesn't make sense. Is that how Barca used to play under Pep and under Luis Enrique? No. But when Ansu Fati enters the field, we saw the game against Villarreal. Ansu Fati and Ferran Torres started alongside Lewandowski. You saw the way those guys were, Ansu Fati and Ferran Torres are not wide wingers. Even Xavi tells them to go wide. I don't think they will because they know how to come close. And you saw the way we played so well in that game. And I think if Ansu Fati is 100% fit, he has every right to start many games because I think that he brings that Barca style of play when we come to the attacking. When we talk about attack, forwards should be closer together because I'm not a big fan of this crossing. You give Dembele or you go your own attacks pass through the wings because what Xavi have been doing most of this season is the goals come but through the wings. Either he give it to Rafinha or Dembele, who are out wide, for them to supply Lewandowski or whatever by crossing or doing whatever. That is not how we used to play in Barcelona. I think Xavi is doing a lot of experiment as a coach in this club, which shouldn't be the case. Then on to the next story of discussion. Barcelona's lackluster display against Bayern Munich saw them fall to a horrific 3-0 defeat in front of their home crowd. It was one of Barca's worst performances of the season and has put Xavi under immense pressure again. Pedri started that game in midfield and was one of the team's better players on the night. He played up to the hour mark, and after which Xavi decided to rest him, in view of a hectic schedule ahead. The youngster spoke to the press after the game and reflected on his team performance among other topics. Pedri first said that knowing the result of Inter had a profound impact on the performance. The Canary Islander acknowledged that the side were not motivated at all, as he said. It was a difficult game. We already knew the result of the Inter game and maybe we didn't come out with the same motivation. The former Golden Boy winner then elaborated on Barca's flaws and the areas where they needed to improve in order to be competitive at the highest level once again. He said, we have to be more calm and with the ball. Sometimes we rush and lose a lot of possession. Pedri did not, of course, mince his word as he openly announced the truth that was conveniently dodged all these days. Yet he believed that they had the ability to return to the highest level. He said, we are a very young team and we have a lot of room to improve. It's clear that we are not good enough to compete in Champions League football. When asked what the side currently lack, Pedri said, we have to get better at many things to be able to compete. We lack many things. One of the things we need to improve is decision making and calmness with the ball and some physical aspects as well. Despite the team's shambolic performance, fans stayed back at Camp Nou to cheer up the Azulgranas and show their support. Pedri has taken aback by the love from the people and made a special mention of it, as he said, first of all, I want to thank the fans. Every day they are with us, no matter what. We want to give them victories and titles. That's why we went out to thank them when the game was over. Thank you very much, fans. For a club of Barcelona stature to not make it out in the group for 2 successive years is unacceptable, guys. So unacceptable. And the youngster considered to the same. When asked if it was a failure, he said, of course, this is a big failure. But always want to go beyond the group stage and fight to win Champions League. So guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time. Bye-bye.